There we go. Welcome, everybody. Joe Quill's here with you. It is Thursday night, another edition of the Joe Quill Show. And you can tell I'm prepared for tonight. Usually I put this up as soon as I see it hit the Twitch chat box, but oops, I forgot. And you can tell because I couldn't come up with anything witty today because as a loud-ass car goes by, it's summertime, people. I just didn't. Probably should have canceled the show, but I wanted to get on here tonight and help you guys out, get ready for the weekend. Big weekend in horse racing as well as everything else going on as we close out the month of June in a couple of days, believe it or not. We're halfway through the year, I think, on the 3rd, even though people using lazy math will say, oh, Wednesday's the new start of the year. I believe it's Friday because it'd be like day 183 and there's 182 gone, 182 left, that sort of thing. But anyway, so hope everybody's doing well out there. Going to be a shorter show tonight, I think. Got a lot to talk about nonetheless here. I think we are seeing correction in the standings right now at the Phillies. We'll get to that. At least tonight, at least going into today's games. Yeah, we can say that. So, yeah, a little course correction with that. MLB came up with a new proposal today, or may have been just add on to what was on there before. We'll get to that as well. Our old friend Max Kepler is no longer suspended from his PED suspension. I don't know how it's PEDs because he didn't, because what he did last year was not performance enhancing, but, and, a lot more coming up, and like we do when we always do, I will encourage you to, I encourage you guys to chime in whenever you feel like it because, we're having fun here. And we do have some changes coming up as well, which I will get to as well. I think I'll do that after talking about the Phillies here as we are in the bottom of the 7th right now. And it is 5-5. Now, we did see Tuesday night when I was on here that the Phillies hit a couple of big home runs, an 8-run 9th inning to win 14-9. 14-8, the Eagles over the Commanders, it seemed like. But from there, and then last night, you see that the Washington Nationals bullpen is worse than ours because they blew another lead in the 9th inning, home run by Derek Hill, the new guy from the Phillies, and off of Dickie Lovelady, also known as Dickie Lovelady Longtime, as the Phillies won that game 6-5 last night, I think it was. But it is 5-5 right now in DC right now. And I do want to say one thing. I watched the video of last night's, or the home run by Hill. And I caught both on social media, both the call from the TV and Tom McCarthy. I believe these are both on X. So if you really dig for it a little bit, you can find it. But I was looking and looking and looking. Or I watched it a few times. I actually saw it last night as well. And when I watched it, it was a bit confusing, that area of right field with the high fence because of the scoreboard and all that. So I had no idea um, if that was a home run or not. I mean, I knew it was because of the fact that I did not want that one. Hold on. Let me fix this here. Just fixing things up here. So, I mean, I knew it was a home run because, I see on my phone, home run by Hill, blah, 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 blah. So, um, since I'm watching it, I want to make sure that it is a home run because the last, Washington fans, all three of them, especially right now, they're, you know, don't want to really get them started up, all three of them. But I will say this: the fence there's the fence, and behind the fence there's a railing, and that's fan protection so that they don't fall what appears to be between the stands and the fence or whatever, that area there. At least that's what it looks like to me. So I'm, so I'm looking. I'm like, well, where is it? Especially when I first saw it last night when I got home, because I was out last night. I didn't get to go to. I didn't watch the game. Went to the Penny Pack Festival at Constotters. So um so we had um we had an opportunity to um so I had an opportunity to watch it, and you see it going, and I can see why Tom McCarthy had a hard time calling it. Now, I'm not going to play it because of the fact that I'll get a copyright, because you can't really show that stuff. So, um, but trying to find what I said here because I saw somebody. I saw somebody post this. Um, Let me go over here. Um, and this is from Kevin Cooney, um, the guy with the 30 chins who used to be on 97.5 The Fanatic. Um, he he said, as he shared the video, and however you do this with the video, I don't know how he did it, but he did. So he's a little bit better at X than I am, or Twitter, or whatever you would call it. So Kevin Cooney says people who are screaming about Team Mac don't realize how difficult it is to track a ball in that hellhole of a ballpark from the press box on the moon. That reminds me because they are, from what I've seen, at the top of the stadium, so it is hard to see. And also with the fan proposal, with the fan view, um, even though I knew it was a home run, I'm playing around here. I'm like, is that going? Is that not going? Where'd the ball go? But um, I don't think that was um, necessarily a thing on um, Tom McCarthy's fault, because I think what you want to do, especially in a big situation like that. By the way, Phillies won 5-4 last night, not 6-5. But I would rather get the call right than be total, especially in a situation as big as that moment in the game where 2 outs, ninth inning, nobody on, somebody gets on base, and then Hill hits that homer. So, but they do have, but it did seem a little. But I don't think that they actually, But when you watch the radio feed that somebody had on there, and I didn't share it, but I saw it. Um, it appears that Scott Fransky on the radio knew it was gone, and Tom McCarthy didn't know. So, but that's why, for example, if you're going to watch a game on Apple, instead of pissing and moaning about, oh, we got to watch on Apple, blah 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 blah. Well, first of all, if you already have Apple, you don't have to pay anything extra. And then on top of that, take advantage of the feature that Apple has that no other broadcast has, where you can actually listen to your team's radio broadcast if you don't like the announcers. Like, for example, me, I don't know when the next time the Phillies are on Apple. I think it's a Yankees series. But if it is on Apple, now, for example, if Trisha Whitaker is in the dugout, yeah, I'm going to listen. And I'm going to watch too. But seriously, but I will also, um, you know, I will go to the radio feed because the radio feed is perfectly synced to the game on TV. So it isn't like, oh, ball two, and you see like two pitches before that ball two pitch. You know, pitch two is a ball, and on the TV's pitch four. Kind of like how you have your own radio with the TV and all that, and they're never in sync. You got to play around with the cable box and all that. But with this, everything's in perfect synchronization. But but the Phillies keep coming back, and I think in some regards you got a Phillies team that has been through the wars over the last 4 years, and the Washington Nationals have not. They're a young team, and they may be. And there may be, um, you know, it just they're a little bit ahead of what you expect them to be. Because remember, they have a new manager who's only 30 years old, I believe. So he's doing well with his players right now. But it's a question of, well, what are they going to do at the trade deadline over the next? What are they going to do over the next month or so? Are they going to go all in? Are they going to fill in bits and pieces? Because they definitely need bullpen help. But then again, most teams do need that help. Phillies, I would wish, would get some bullpen help too, along with the right-handed bat. But you do have all these issues going on right now. And I think the one thing is with the Washington Nationals is they said that they're playing a very unconventional game right now where they're running as much as they can and all that, and they're trying to steal runs from you and all that. So I think this is the first time the Phillies have played the Nationals all year, I believe. Let me just check that to make sure. Um, Oh no, Phillies played the Nationals here to start the year. That second series of the year. Phillies won 2 or 3. Okay. See, it's so long ago that you don't realize it. But um, and the Phillies will play 4 games here, and they'll play 2 games in DC. Okay. So I just think right now the Nationals are going to be a pest in the division. They're not going to be that team that sneaks up and wins the division, or not necessarily wins a wild card either. But they're going to be one of those teams that you don't want to play in September because they're probably going to give you all kinds of troubles. So, um, but you really have to realize that every game is important, whether it's a division game or a game against the American League in the regular season. Um, but I'd like to see what the Phillies can do here. See if they can pull out this win here tonight, get 3 or 4 out of Washington. And also you want to get as many wins as possible now, because take advantage of the fact that the Braves are in a little bit of trouble right now. They got swept by San Diego, I believe. And I know I'm really batting 1,000 today. I do apologize for that. Yeah, they lost to San Diego. So right now the Braves are off today. The Braves the Braves play San Francisco tomorrow. But as of right now, the Phillies are only 4.5 games back. And this is why you play 162 games, because you never know when a team is going to be coming out of the shadows, like the Phillies have been over the last couple of weeks. And we'll see what happens here. But I admit I didn't watch much of the games this week, so boo me. And it looks like the Phillies got out of the 8th inning there, so good. So I did see something today that is worth worth mentioning here. It was announced today. And I don't know where I shared it, of course. Give me a second here while I look. Oh, by the way, you can go to Joe Quills on X. I did repost the Phillies call of Scott Fransky's calling Derek Hill's home run last night, and then I quote reposted. No, that was the same call where I said the ladies no longer love Dickie long time. Dickie loved lady long time. But yeah, and then I commented on Kevin Cooney's. Okay, so I'm interested in seeing how the fans react. Now, granted, the All-Star game in a couple of weeks, it is, some season ticket holders, and also a lot of dignitaries and people that hey, I'm here at the All-Star game, but be interesting to see how the crowd reacts. And I'm sure we'll get a good reaction, because Don Mattingly has been named to be a coach in the All-Star game for the Phillies. So him and Ali Marmol. Ali Marmol, how he still has a job in Major League Baseball is a mystery to me. But then again, his Cardinals are 6 games over 500. But I think he's the only manager in Major League Baseball who has an over 500 record and is worse than Charlie Manuel. But that's just me. But Donnie Baseball will be on the NL coaching staff. He does have a connection with Dave Roberts. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but I think that's a good thing with Dave Roberts to even get, the manager of the home team there at the All-Star game. So, good for him. And he gets to go to another All-Star game. But it goes to the ninth inning here. And Philly's got a man on first base here. I don't know what happened because I don't have that. The TV that I have in the dining room that I have on whenever I'm streaming, especially when we have major sporting events going on, I have it set up for the U.S.-Turkey matchup. I'm sorry, Turkey. No, it's Turkey. We're going to treat them like a bunch of turkeys. And they're going to gobble, gobble, gobble all the way back to Eastern Europe. But I don't know. Talking shit. See what happens when you win 2 games in the World Cup. But the Phillies have done it again. Another ninth inning home run. And the Phillies now lead 7-5 in the ninth. If this lead holds, I think you're seeing, even though it's only June, the end of June, I think you're seeing a team in the Phillies that know that you play 9 innings, and the Nationals who really don't. So, and the thing is with the Nationals, they're such a young team. It's like, well, what do we do when we get closer to the trade deadline? Do we get some additional help, or do we stand pat? Or, I mean, they're in a weird situation because they got a lot of young players that are in the majors right now. So, let me just look at the box score here right now. James Wood, young. Curtis Mead, 25. Probably, I don't think he's been in the majors too long. He's from Australia, Mike. First base tonight was Andres Chaparro.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Exactly. Dylan Cruz, he's a young player there, 24 years old. Dalen Lyle, 23 years old. Jacob Young, 26. C.J. Abrams, he's been in the league a few years, but he's only 25. Nassim Nunez, 25. Jose Tena, depending on I imagine it's Tena, because he's from the Dominican Republic. He's 25 years old. Yorbit Vivas.
Who the fuck is that guy?
He's 25. And then Keeper Ruiz, the catcher's 27. So that's everybody in the field that's in the game. So, but the Phillies take an 7-5 lead. Excuse me. Sanchez got hit around in the first couple innings, but he got through 5 innings. So, but I think, when you look at this series, I just think it's a matter of Phillies going through the wars the last 4 years together and the Nationals not. I mean, you can go through the wars in the minor leagues, but, every level is a little bit tougher and everything. And by the time you get up here, but the Nationals are probably going to be that team that are going to be that hemorrhoid in your ass, so to speak. So don't be surprised if you see the Nationals playing the spoiler role in September. Thankfully, the Phillies get them out of the way mostly in August. They have 2 games in September, but yeah. So I did also see today. Actually, you know what? Let's change things up a little bit. We'll get to the collective bargaining in a second. Well, first of all, also eligible on Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, on these same channels. So, we'll be looking at the Stephen Foster, which is Sovereignty, Baeza, White Barrio, and Magnitude. It looks like it's going to be a field of 5. 7 horses are rendered, okay? But 2 of them are going to be scratched. You can go to QandARacing.com because there is an article about it. And and I'm going to show my screen here. Why not? Because I was talking with AJ about this earlier today. So Willie Dees is the one. He's cross-entered into a turf race at Lone Star Park, but from what I saw, because the second and third horses that was entered by Sappy Joseph. And Hill now hits a homer. It's 10-5. And the Nationals implode yet again. But I digress. But anyway, so just to let you know, Willie Dees is the one. From what I was seeing, he is going to run here at Churchill because 5th place money probably gets you more money than 1st place at Lone Star Park. Or Barrio, the 2. Sappy Joseph's horse that'll stay in, hopefully. There was an article about he hopes that the horses still run, but from what I understand, the medical, the stewards and all that, the bar's really low to get yourself scratched in Kentucky. Sovereignty, last year's Kentucky Derby winner, he will be from the 3-hole, and he finished second to White Barrio in the Oakland handicap. Baeza finished 3rd in the Ali Shiva, got a race over the track. Will be second time Bill Mott. He went from John Sheriff's to Bill Mott when John Sheriff's passed away a couple months ago. In Magnitude, he's running for the first time since winning the Dubai World Cup, and he won about $7 million in that race from the sheiks out there. So we'll see how he is coming back from there. So so here you go. Forge Steel scratched, Navajo Warrior scratched. So you're looking at 5 horses here, which kind of sucks, but we'll have that for you Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. Additional updates. Next week on this show, we will be live Monday and Tuesday. I am taking off on Thursday. I mean, this is something where, I pretty much run my own show, so to speak. I do whatever I want for the most part, but I'm more than happy to take criticism, constructive criticism with my shows. So, and I know right now with me yawning and now rubbing my eyes and shit like that, and you seeing my bald spot and shit like that, that I know the guy that we used to have would be giving me all kinds of shit, which, you know, it. I'm like, well, I appreciate that. I know I have my quirks and everything else, but um, next week we will have shows on Monday and Tuesday. No show on Thursday. Um, AJ knows about this already because I will be at Parks on Thursday because they have a special uh, late afternoon card starting at 5 o'clock. So basically, I'm there for the shit show in a way because the last time Parks, the last time Parks had a card where they had a lack of daylight. Jessica Paquette was calling the 15th and final race at the 2024 Pennsylvania Derby card in total darkness because they had a couple of different issues and all that. But she called the 15th race in total darkness, and I said to her last year when I met her for the first time at Gulfstream Park, I said, I don't know how you called that race because me just sitting there on the apron there, I couldn't see a damn thing. How you saw them, I don't know. And were as accurate as you were. I mean, I think there was one glitch, but I would have done much worse. So, but I don't even know how many races are going to be on the card next week. I don't even know if they. Let me see here. Parks has races up until Wednesday listed, so I imagine maybe tomorrow those races will be posted up. And basically, I'm going to be there not only to wager a little bit, but I'm also going to be getting some content for AJ because it's the holiday, and just a typical day, and just little things like that. So we're gonna be taking the Thursday off, and we might as well. Um, we may also have those other Thursdays in July off. So if we don't have a Thursday show in July, you know why. But at least this Thursday, at least next Thursday, the 2nd, no show. I will be at Parks, and I won't have to rush home and all that. I can relax and you know have some fun. So next update, and this is for those that are on, especially um, so especially, well, first of all, you should be following me on Twitch or subscribing. I prefer subscribing, but you can still follow me because I'm going to be doing some additional things on there soon. I know I keep teasing that for months, but you know, I am a bit of a tease, but those are my socials. And if you were on Twitch right now at twitch.tv/Joe Quills, you would have all that information right there. And starting Monday, we are going to be taking a break from the Q&A Sports Zone YouTube. There is a reason for it, and no, I'm not leaving Q&A Sports Zone because I am the Q in Q&A. Even though we may say it's not, we can build my ego up and say it was, but so For all those watching on the different channels right now, youtube.com/@JoeQuills. Subscribe on there if you prefer YouTube, but I prefer you go to twitch.tv/JoeQuills because I'm going to be getting more interactive, and especially when I start gaming, you'll be able to build points towards the channel so we can do like little fun things like, and we can also do polls as well where, okay, like for example, um, one thing that I will probably do a lot once we get some channel points and things for people that want to watch, and little secret, I'm going to be resetting everything, but you watch even this show, you can still accrue points, so you can use those channel points to use for these wagers. And basically it'd be like, well, what will be like, for example, one of the things you can bet on a lot in sports books, and I guarantee you, if you probably could have made a ton of money on the Washington Nationals this week, because I think they led after the fifth inning, all 4 games. So what we'll be able to do, but we won't have like minus 140. It'll be more like, well, 2,500 points is on the Phillies, 1,200 is on the Nationals, and we'll also have to throw in push, because if there's a tie after 5 innings, and me, I love a 3-way, because
2 chicks at the same time, man.
what can I say? But if you do come over here, especially when I start playing out of park baseball, that type of thing is what I want to do, especially in the beginning. Little fun things here and there beyond just a game, and keep you guys interactive. And it'll basically be a chill stream. It'll just be, let's talk whatever. We don't have to. I mean, we talk mostly sports, but as long as it's not politics, I don't give a shit what we talk about. And I will say, hey, I don't know much about this, but here's what I think. That sort of thing. But so, but yeah, so we are going away from the Q&A Sports Zone YouTube for a little bit, but we'll be back there. It's just some behind the scenes stuff that has to be done with that page. So just to let you guys know. So just go to youtube.com/JoeQuills. Now, if you're on Twitch, that link is already on my page, so you can go there as well. Also, let's see, the YouTube, the Thursday. Oh, yeah. Also coming up within the next week or so. And let me pull this up here, because I created, and I renamed this. So originally it was called Joe Quills is Also Eligible. It was basically morphing the 2 shows together. But I just have to find it. Oh, God. All right. Give me a second here. I'm going to pull up the link here. Not the link, but the little art that I did. There we go. So, coming soon, I'm trying to remember everything I planned to talk about. And I ran to the store late. I was doing other things today. And yeah, I got caught up in the 4 o'clock soccer matches, and next thing you know, it's 6:30. It's like, oh shit, I have to go to the store yet. But coming soon, and I got to figure out the link. So I'm not going to share the link yet. Coming soon on Discord is the Quills Cord. So basically, it'll be an area that you guys can talk amongst yourselves about all different things. I'll have a section for the Joe Quill Show. I'll have a section for Also Eligible. I'll have a section for Out of the Park Baseball. I'll have a part for Mix109Radio.us, which is the online radio station I never talk about. I have a little bit of everything for you guys. So, you want to talk sports, there will be a section for that. You want to talk horse racing, you got a section within a section for that. You want to talk whatever, I'm sure I'll have a section for it. So, but I will have the link probably next week. If not next week, after the 4th. So, probably within 2 weeks. So, but a little bit of everything there, and whatever I use for this. I don't remember if this was on Copilot or on ChatGPT, but whatever it was, it's still trying to put the quill in there, which I don't associate with myself, but with this, I don't give a shit. But, you had the hockey stick there a little bit, and you got the football there, you got the baseball. They didn't put the basketball in here. I said put all the sports there, the 4 major sports, but oh well, close enough. And I also had a horse in there as well. So, but that's going to be coming up within the next couple of weeks. I can update you guys. Like, for example, instead of going, well, I'll still be going Facebook and X and everything. Hey, no show tonight. I can actually put on there additional information. So just want to let you guys know. I'm expanding things more and more over the next couple of weeks. I think it'll help with a lot of things I planned over the next couple of weeks. So, but that's probably something I'm going to be doing on Saturday between races when the Churchill card is running. So you have that. So just in a nutshell, Quills Cord will be live in a couple of weeks. No show next Thursday. We may not have a show at all, and we may not have a Thursday show in July. I'm looking at gaming on my own starting soon. And whatever else I said, But we'll have everything all ready, Oh, and also, if you're watching on Q&A Sports Zone, just for those that are on the Q&A Sports Zone side there, I am going to be taking a break from Q&A Sports Zone, streaming to that YouTube. You can still go to my YouTube, but I also want you to go to twitch.tv/Joe Quills because of all the different things that I planned over the next couple of months. So, and also I am an affiliate on Twitch. So, like, for example, like, you can cheer bits to me, you can subscribe to me, you can do all kinds of shit, and I could do all kinds of shit in return. And also, the one thing I plan on doing, at least with gaming on my own, going to turn it into a bit of a TV show on top of it because I can run ads on there. So, yeah, I got to learn how to do the ads. So it's going to be an epic shit show at the beginning. But, it's not a ploy to get you guys to subscribe, even though, yeah, I'd love for you to subscribe and support me. But also have a little fun with it, instead of having a 3-minute commercial break between half innings, like maybe every couple innings we'll have a 1-minute break, that sort of thing. But, and one thing I do want to say here. Now, for the most part, when you watch soccer, football, is it me? I think this year at least, the fans are actually, the players are singing a little more because in past years it was just like this the whole time. But they're really singing it. It seems like they're singing it, but does it seem to me like if you get to like you watch a third world country play, it's like sing it or you're going to face the firing squad. Whereas in the United States, it's like, I'm American. That sort of thing. But then again, me about the fake patriotism shit that I hate in this, with a lot of people in this country. And also insulting our veterans, which we'll get to in a week or two when the All-Star game comes around. Because I will have to apologize to all the Americans out there who should be offended that a draft dodger is ordering our veterans to salute. But we'll worry about that in a week or two. Okay, so I tried highlighting this up and I just didn't have time, didn't finish it up, but the latest information from the collective bargaining between Major League Baseball and the Players Association came out today. And Major League Baseball wants to have a maximum contract length of 5 years for free agents who are switching teams, while organizations will have the ability to keep their own players for up to 6 years, calling it a cornerstone player provision. I'm not sure if I really like it. I think it's there. And I said this last week or 2 weeks ago when the first bit of news from collective bargaining came out. And, I know this from going through a few rounds of collective bargaining as a union steward and also going through 26 years of that shit with Verizon. Even that's technically, even though it's technically IBW, but you get the idea. But I will say this. In the beginning, when you start getting into these serious talks, which, there's like, 5-6 months to go, you're throwing shit to the wall, see what will stick. And I don't think there's much in here that either side will agree to. I don't think there's very much that the Players Association will agree to that the union agrees to, or that the MLB executives and vice versa. But you get the idea, and then little by little you try to wheel it down. Try to reach that common ground in the middle. And that's what collective bargaining is for. It's like, we want this. Well, we're only giving you this, and if you're going to be way out here the whole time, you're never getting to here. So, but MLB wants to cap contracts at 5 and 6 years. Now, in a way, even though I'm not a fan of it, in a way, I kind of don't like it, but it's almost like the players are getting punished for the owners and the GMs giving out bad contracts. Getting stuck with guys for 10, 12, 15 years. So I don't like that part of it, but I can understand why the executives want no more than 5 or 6 years. Because also remember, I think hockey, it's 8 years that you can sign up to in terms of years. In basketball, it's 4 years if you're going to change teams, 5 years if you're going to stay with the team. So you do have that. So I think you have a little bit of both with that. So a little bit of hockey, a little bit of basketball, but they're trying to make things in their own way. Now, I also think, but I just don't like it for the most part. So the proposal includes raising the minimum salary from $780,000 to $1 million in 2027 for players with at least 2 years of service time. Okay. I mean, I'm okay with that in regards to, because, but then again, they're still making, what, about 10 times that I make in a year? So, wait. The U.S. has scored. Goal! I'm not going to go anymore. Next thing you know, I'll have blue face and blue balls. But anyways, I had to do it. I had to do the goal thing. But if the U.S. scores again, I'm not doing that, okay? And feel free to clip that. And here's another thing for all you people out there that are watching, especially on Twitch, because you guys, for the most part right now, have free reign. I might have to rein it in a little bit, but you guys have free reign to clip anything. So, because it's content. So, and that's something that I will have to come up with, especially once I start streaming out of the park baseball, because one of the things I'm going to be doing with that is actually going to you guys and saying, this is me, these are my rules, which there aren't many rules. It's basically, my rules basically on here are don't be an asshole and just respect each other. And don't talk politics. But for the most part, clip away. I don't care. Because, if you find something that's funny, go right ahead. I'm all for it. So, I might even clip that myself tonight. And, I'll get the TikTok going a little bit, because I have a TikTok, but I don't use it. Only because, but then again, I see like the use for it with like the younger crew, and maybe get some younger people involved there. that sort of thing. So, but yeah, so we'll see what happens over the next few weeks. And, also if you subscribe, you know, or even follow at twitch.tv/JoeQuills, we can, feel free to clip away, because there may be something funny that comes up that, I can use, and, I'll even give you credit for it, you know, but, and I can turn it into funny things, especially with the out of park baseball. Because every once in a while you get this game that's 18-2, where it's like the text announcers that you have there are like telling jokes and stuff. It's like, yeah, so and so shot his mouth off or something, or something like, start telling jokes and stuff. But up there we go. And we got a ban. There you go. I show that they spam, but I show it so quickly that it's like, no, you're not going to read the whole thing, because I don't want you going to that bad site. Even worse than porno. But going back here to what I'm seeing here, as the U.S. is up 1-0 on Turkey, treat them like a bunch of turkeys. Any player with 0 or 1+ years of service time will receive $1 million if they receive a full year of service, which includes $900,000 minimum salary, plus an automatic $100,000 bonus from the pre-arbitration bonus pool. The increase in the minimum is the largest year-over-year increase in MLB history, according to league data. Minimums would increase in future years along with payroll floor and ceiling, which, oh, by the way, salary cap. So you do have that, and with the Players Association, they're smart enough to say, well, this is all under the cloak of a salary cap, and we're not agreeing to it. Now, also in this, players who reach 5 years of service time by age 30 would become eligible for free agency, a provision the union first pushed forth recently as part of its own CBA proposal. Currently, players of any age need 6 years of service time before becoming a free agent. That system has been in place since the advent of free agency in MLB in 1976. So now, even if both sides agree to that, until you have a memorandum of understanding, in text, that could be pulled at any time. It's like, well, you know what? Like, for example, the executives. You want that free agent? You want that salary cap? Or you want no salary cap? Well, guess what? We're taking away that agreement that we had back in June, where if you're 30 years old and 5 years of service, you get free agency. Or before 30. That's no longer on the table. And that can happen from time to time. Sides get so pissed off at things that, oh, by the way, we're not going to do it anymore. So that's the case there. So, I mean, that's one thing that I like, but that's something that That's something that seems like to be the only common ground that the both sides have right now. Now, the league also proposed eliminating deferred contracts. Those bunch of turkeys scored. Fuck. But then again, this is a match where it really means nothing, but that's just that's just bad defensive play there, and you hung the goalie out to dry there. But look at me talking soccer like I know what I'm talking about. But anyways, so yeah, I mean, the thing is, a lot of this stuff, it's all under the cloak. All of this is under the cloak of a salary cap, which the Players Association is not going to do. Now, can they do it? Can they? I mean, the thing is, but the thing is, right now, and this is not an open invitation for political. This isn't an open invitation for a political discussion, but let's just state facts. It all depends who's in office and how they feel about unionized labor. Right now, Trump, forget it. If he's still alive in the winter, when there's a lockout or whatever you want to call this work stoppage that happens, I guarantee you he's going to tell them, get back on the field or else. I guarantee he's going to do it, which is going to lead to a series on Out of the Park Baseball I plan on doing. But I will say this. If you're if you're in a union right now and you're threatening to go out, it may not be wise, because either you have the possibility of going to be forced back to work, or you'll lose your job outright because the executive order is fire every motherfucker. And I guarantee you that will be in the executive document, fire every motherfucker. But the thing is, even though the players can survive, but the thing is, the owners are not going to allow. I very highly doubt that they allow an extension, and I doubt the players' union does as well. As soon as you say the letter S in salary cap, the Players Association is going to say, fuck no. Guarantee it. But so I highly doubt that'll be the case. Now, there was one thing. Now, here's the only thing that I saw so far that I liked. The league also proposed eliminating deferred contracts as well as the qualifying offer, but didn't ask for any changes to its arbitration system. Now, the thing is, with deferred contracts, I did not know, like sometimes, like a lot of these things were cut and dry. But, you're going to have to grandfather Shohei Ohtani. You're going to have to grandfather the Bobby Bonilla stuff. Anything that's pre-new collective bargaining agreement, you have to grandfather in. But, once you get to ratification of the collective bargaining agreement, whether it's December 2nd or sometime in 27, sometime in 28, sometime in 29, you're going to have a major issue here. But you got to realize that you're going to have I would say the chances of a work stoppage are probably about 95% in my opinion. I have zero confidence in it. But the thing is, part of the reason why I think the LA Dodgers have such a big advantage is they're luring every star to LA, and it's not because they have the money. It's because they're kicking the can down the road. I mean, look at Shohei. He's getting paid $2 million a year for 10 years. And then, oh, by the way, when that contract is over, he will then get $68 million a year, probably with interest. So the Dodgers, I mean, and other teams do this as well. So it's not just the Dodgers. It's just that the Dodgers have been most blatant about it because you got a guy who had, whatever, $2 million a year. Well, we'll give you 16. But the thing is with Shohei, and of course, mind you, the Juan Soto contract, which is probably one of the contracts, is the reason why they want to cut the 5 years and all that stuff, is the fact that you do have all this stuff here that they're trying to throw at the Players Association. Well, here's an idea for the owners. If you don't like the fact that somebody wants $55 million a year, whatever Juan Soto figured out to, if you don't want $55 million a year for 15 years, then just don't give him that long of a contract. But then again, you have an owner in New York who can spend as much as he wants because he just doesn't care about the money, because he wants to be the new evil empire of New York, even though the new evil empire is actually in LA. But also I'll say this. One of the reasons why that they are going after they're going after a salary cap, one of the reasons why, in my opinion, is the bubble bursting with the regional sports networks, because I mean you have the Phillies, the Yankees, the Mets. Well, the Mets are shit this year. They're actually losing once again. Phillies, Mets, Cubs, the Dodgers. They have their own regional sports network, whereas a lot of those teams that originated with the Fox Sports regional networks, they went into the Bally's and all that and went to FanDuel. You know, they were run by Diamond Holdings, whatever it was, but it had the FanDuel brand on it. And they all went bankrupt because when one business buys another business, 9 times out of 10, you're buying the other company's debt. Perfect example, Sears and Kmart. One bought the other, I forget which one. And we could see what was going to happen with both of those companies because, A, they both had major debt on both sides of the merger. On top of that, they weren't geared towards the explosion of Amazon and online shopping in general. Because guess what? I'll gladly wait a day and get it for a few bucks left with Amazon. Trust me, I did some Amazon shopping the last couple of days. Got a cleaning product for my bathroom. But the thing is, you can get it right away. But the thing is, we're at a point here in American society where, fuck it, I don't feel like going to the store. Now, granted, I like going to the store. I like going to Target and wandering around and even Walmart, even though Walmart can be pretty funny. And one of my friends on Facebook said today that she went to let me find it here because I gotta laugh out of my one friend. And she said, I heard Pearl Jam in Walmart today. Pearl Jam in Walmart. There's no way I'm that old. And I said, sure it wasn't a rogue worker playing that over the intercom? And the reason why I said that is when I used to work at the supermarket and I used to work overnights, once the store closed, we had a radio in the back and we put on the intercom and we played music over the intercom for 4 hours until bakery came in at 5 o'clock and they shut it down. It's just like, hey, just do whatever, But yeah, so that was the genesis of that comment. But but I like to wander around but wandering around is a good thing and a bad thing. The same way with clicking different things. Like, for example, you go into Amazon, you look, and it's like, you can get this is on sale for $24. Then you scroll down a little bit, you're reading about the product a little bit more, and then you say, well, let me look at this. Oh yeah, I'll buy that too. And the next thing you know, you got a $300 order, and you got 12 boxes. And it's coming from 6 different trucks because they don't put it on the same thing. Like, for example, the 2 items I ordered, one I got the same day, the next one I didn't get until yesterday. But yeah, so one company buys another company's debt. But yeah, so. Let's see. So let's get back to the story here because I went off. So these proposals all come under the umbrella of a salary cap system that the league previously put forth to the MLB CBA. So free agents who are switching teams can sign only for up to 5 years at a maximum of 15% of the team's payroll. That's a hockey thing because they have on there that you can only have X amount. You can only take about X amount of payroll with 5% increases each year of the contract. Under a cornerstone player provision, a team can sign its own player for up to 6 years. A free agent moving teams this offseason could sign a maximum contract of 5 players for 202. Teams retaining its own free agent can sign him for up to 6 years at $265 million. Maximum contract length applies to free agent years only. For example, a player with less than a year of service can sign with his own team for up to 12 years. See, this is where you lose me with a lot of the stuff here. Now, the league initially proposed a salary floor of $171.2 million, a ceiling of $245.3. But there is so much stuff here. But the interesting thing here is, I will say this: if you're going to base it on salary, overall salary, I guess you're doing that based off of the salary cap number. But even so, I think that it's going to not solve the haves and have-nots. But now the MLB PA pushed back on operating with a hard salary cap and floor, putting forth its own proposal that continues the current system of taxing teams that go over a payroll threshold. Additionally, it has never been in favor of a maximum number of years on the length of a contract. If its own proposal expands player compensation while allowing players to sign without a max on years or compensation. And the thing is, a lot of times these owners, they're buying, like the younger players, they're buying out the arbitration years. You see that a lot. It's like, well, we're going to sign you for 6 years. Or we'll sign you 7 because it takes 6 years to be a free agent. Or 6 years of MLB service time. So, I mean, I don't like any of the stuff that's being offered other than getting rid of deferral. But it's like, well, who's going to – but my problem is, who's going to offer this? Because if the players offer it, then where do you go? But, I mean, I can see why you want to defer it. With the club, it's, hey, let's kick that can down the road and let's worry about that 10 years from now when we look at Shohei's contract. Or, but I just think that a lot of this is, the owners are, in a way, saying, well, we're not going to do this anymore. Well, why aren't you doing it in the past? Are you afraid of colluding against the players? I'd rather deal with the collusion shit than, locking somebody up for 12 years. But the one thing I will say is, with the value of the dollar year over year, when Bryce Harper signed that contract in 2019, I think the final couple of years are $25 million a year. Okay, so let's pretend there's no salary cap all the way to the end of that contract. You get to year 12, 13, 14, whatever, 2031 or whatever it was. $25 million. Goal. USA. Nope. No goal. Yeah. Oh, we got all kinds of shit going on here. So we have an offside, but was he offside? Where'd the ball hit? But no goal. And you can tell I'm not the best when it comes to soccer because I said to somebody, I kind of know the offside rule. But other than that, you know. But I will say this. Getting back to baseball, you know, I don't know what to think of this. You know, I just think that now, one thing that they note in this article here, and Turkey just scores 2-1. The union has yet to formally reject a system that features a salary cap. But the MLB PA interim executive director Bruce Meyer all but indicated in an afternoon call with reporters that that would soon be the case. It means the proposals set forth by the league Thursday, all under a cap system, had little impact on the players. But you know, I think don't be surprised if there's no baseball. There's some sort of a work stoppage. Call it a strike. Call it a lockout. So whatever it is, you know, it is what it is. So a little something to keep in mind. And by the way, bit of a good news because we love it when we see it. Once again, the Mets have lost.
Who the fuck is that guy?
I had to do it. But you get the idea. So that is the case there. And you know, I have to look that more, but I just get the feeling that, you know, we're going to be looking at a work stoppage and maybe a basis for one of my out of the ballpark streams coming up in the next few weeks. So now, remember Max Kepler?
Who the fuck is that guy?
Come on, Connor. He used to play for the Phillies last year. He got caught with a dirty piss test, got an 80-game suspension. Well, he's back. He signed a couple of weeks ago with Arizona. He was activated off the restricted list on Thursday following the completion of an 80-game suspension for testing positive for a performance-enhancing drug. Now, also remember, if Arizona makes the playoffs, Kepler cannot play because it's 80 games plus the postseason. But yeah, I think that something like this, because it is in season, but it was announced in the off season. Yeah, you get into that gray area there. But so the thing is, once you get to a certain point in your suspension, you're allowed to ramp it back up in the minors. And Max Kepler spent 10 games in the minors. He hit .333 with 2 home runs in 10 minor league games. He was hitting 5th in the batting order and playing left field for the Diamondbacks against the Cardinals tonight. So, but so he was suspended in January for a positive test for epitrenbolone, a metabolite for trenbolone that's contained in some products used in bodybuilding stores and has been used in products to promote cattle growth. So I guess he's a big bullshitter. But He was the first player suspended by MLB for the substance since public announcements of pending details given began in 2005. For the substance, for that particular substance. Okay. Torey Lovella said it's a great opportunity for him. He's been working his tail to get back here as soon as possible, and the fact that he's in the lineup tonight is not surprising to any of us. He's going to go out there and help us win a baseball game by impacting it the right way. He had 216 with 18 homers and 52 RBIs with the Phillies last year. That was the infamous one-year, $10 million contract that Adolis Garcia got. And just when you thought he was getting out of his funk, he's out for the year with an injury. But he's hit 235 with 179 homers and 560 RBIs over an 11-year career. So Kepler got put onto the 40-man roster. Now, and I know what you're thinking as well. What about Johan Rojas? Because his time is up. Well, he got placed on the 60-day DL this week because I don't know if this was actually leading up to a ramp up or whatever, but he blew out his UCL. He's getting Tommy John surgery, so he's out for the year. So he's probably out until next spring at the earliest. And on top of that, you have, but he's got a couple of years of service, but as of right now, he's not, I think he would be arbitration eligible, but would I want to do that? That's the problem. I'm not sure I would want to offer him arbitration, because you can just say, oh, we're not offering arbitration, get out. So don't be surprised if that happens as well. But U.S. is down 2-1 to Turkey. Me, I like my turkey on white bread. But just a reminder, also eligible Saturday, 10 a.m. We're going to be looking to Stephen Foster on these same channels. So, and also with that announcement, also eligible will still be run on Q&A Racing. It's just that in the short term, starting Monday, we will not be on, the Joe Quill Show will not be on the Q&A Sports Zone YouTube. So go to my YouTube or go to twitch.tv/Joe Quills, which is what I prefer you do. But I'm going to let you guys decide for yourselves. And we're live every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Also, check out QARacing.com for my Quills Picks winners articles. No winner today. Did have one yesterday. Kind of got hit with a rainstorm that I wasn't prepared for today, but just to let you know, some of the things I went through tonight. No show next Thursday because I'm going to be doing some content for Q&A Racing for some horse racing stuff at parks. And, Mike, if you want to tag along, go ahead. Also, the YouTube, go to youtube.com/Joe Quills if you want to watch on YouTube, but I prefer you come to my Twitch, twitch.tv/Joe Quills. So you can, that was some news. No show on Thursday, Monday and Tuesday next week. And also on top of all that, my Discord will be opening up in the next week or two. It's going to be called the Quills Cord. It'll just be a place where you guys can hang out and just talk with each other the whole time, and I can promote different things and go here, there, and everywhere with things. So, but and so whatever, and I'll be here. Follow my socials at Joe Quills on most of them, and let's have some fun this weekend. So um, we'll look at the races on Saturday. We're definitely going to look at the Stephen Foster, even though it's a 5-horse race right now. I don't. I may be solo. I may not be solo. Um, AJ has said to me if he's available, he wants to be on there, and I'm like, dude, you just tell me when you want to come on, and we'll do it. We will
Do it live.
every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And I will do a live on, and we will
Do it live.
Monday and Tuesday night next week at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. So that is it for tonight. And hope everybody has a great weekend if you don't join me Saturday morning. And come on, USA. Stop parking the bus. Score some goals. Treat them like the turkeys that they are. And we'll do it live tomorrow night, Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And then Monday and Tuesday next week at 9 o'clock. So